Hello, my name is Laura and I'm starting a new YouTube channel, and today I would like to discuss with you my new cancer diagnosis and share with you what I've learned from it and wisdom and what I've just gotten out of it as a patient, and if I can help others with their new diagnosis as well. So I'm 54 years old, and about 3 years ago I was put on hormone replacement therapy. I didn't think much of it. It helped me a lot with my symptoms, and I was followed by a really nice and knowledgeable nurse practitioner. I was going there every 3 to 6 months. Anyway, I do have some family history of cancer. My mom had ovarian cancer in her 60s, and my maternal grandmother had breast cancer, and then later on in life, colon cancer. Anyway, so the way it went is I was due for my annual exam with my nurse practitioner, and so I went, and she found this lump on my breast. After that, she sent me to get a diagnostic mammogram that revealed some concerns, and then they sent me to get an ultrasound that also revealed more concerns, and they finally sent me to a local surgeon in my town who recommended a needle biopsy. So basically, it's done with a large needle, and they go in the breast, they numb you, and they try to get a little piece of the tumor to try to analyze it to see if it's cancer. So when I went, it wasn't a big deal, didn't hurt at all. They numb it a little bit, and he had an ultrasound machine right there, so you could see exactly where the needle was going. And he was having a bit of a hard time, so he used another needle, same size. He said, he wanted to make sure he had good equipment. And second time, again, he had a little trouble, but he finally got a piece of it. I remember him saying, I got it this time. So anyway, it was a quick procedure. I went home and I got the results through my chart online, and it said benign. So I was like, great. But I did have a follow-up with him about a week later. So I went in for the appointment, and I was pretty relaxed because I had already gotten the results as far as I was concerned. And he sat down with me, and I was like, oh, well, good news, everything's good. He's like, yeah, well, I do want to talk to you about this. I'm like, okay. And he's like, I don't like the look of it, and I'm not 100% sure I got a piece of it because it was very hard, and I want to do surgery, basically. I'm like, oh, okay, I did not expect this. So he basically scheduled a lumpectomy to remove the tumor and to just make sure it was benign. So a week or two later, I went to the hospital, and I had general anesthesia and to remove the lump. And I found out the results a few days later, and basically it showed cancer. So we were pretty surprised. Now, this surgeon has a lot of experience. I think he's got 30 years of experience, and he's supposed to be well known in my town for breast cancer. So I think maybe he had a feeling, but so my type of cancer is the invasive ductal carcinoma. The good thing is it was stage 1, so I'm very fortunate. If a tumor is smaller than 2 centimeters, it's stage 1, period. So anyways, after that, we had a follow-up appointment. My husband came with me and he gave us a lot of information. It was a bit overwhelming. He wrote it down, but basically he was like, okay, this is the next step. Basically the next step for me was to get lymph nodes out. Now, he also, in that appointment, checked how I was healing, and it was very bruised and, swollen. They had told me the breast swells a lot, but just very bruised and, kind of hard in some places and, definitely tender and painful. And he looked at it and he's like, oh, well, you've got a hematoma. I'm like, okay, like, what is that? So basically he said, yeah, there was some, bleeding in there. And so that's what you call a hematoma, but it will subside on its own. The body will absorb the blood. So I didn't think too much of it. And about a week later, I was taking a little bit of pain medicine they had given me, some ibuprofen at time, and it was just, I felt like my breast was getting bigger and harder, and it hurt a lot, to the point that I ended up in the ER on the weekend one day, and I was in a lot of pain. There was a surgeon on call that day who came to see me, and they also did like a CT scan, and they said I had a large hematoma. And the surgeon offered to basically suck some of the blood out with a needle. And so I was like, you do anything you want, but I can't live with this. Like, the pain was just really, really bad. And so he basically sucked out 30 cc's of blood, which is about an ounce of blood, and it helped a lot. So I thought, okay, I'm good, that's great. I feel a lot better. I go to work for another week, and it's about 5 days later, it came back with a vengeance. It hurt so bad. I was a 9 out of 10. I could not control the pain by any medicine or prescription drugs they had given me. I was very distraught and upset and discouraged. So it was actually New Year's Day. So I went to work because I was really trying to avoid going back to the hospital, to the ER, because it was a holiday and my surgeon's office was closed. And so I thought, well, I'll just tough it out. Maybe if I go to work, it'll take my mind off of it. And I lasted about 45 minutes at work. I could not focus. I was in a lot of pain. I basically was crying at my desk. And so I talked to my boss and I said, listen, I really was avoiding to have to go back to the ER, but I don't understand what's happening. I gotta leave. And so she was really nice. She offered to take me to the local hospital, but I work 45 minutes away from home, and I wanted to go to my hospital because they knew me already. So I did my drive, and it was very tough. My husband stayed with me on the phone, which helped a lot. I go to the ER, and thankfully the surgeon who had done my first surgery was there on call, and so that worked out really well. But he came to see me, and he was surprised to see me, and I'm like, listen, I can't function like this. You got to do something. Like, this, I can't, nothing, no medicine I can take is helping with this. So he offered to do surgery that day to remove the hematoma, and we had that lymph node surgery that was going to be my next thing, but we needed the breast to heal before we could do that. So I was like, let's do it. I could not take it anymore. It was like, okay. like whatever, whatever you need to do. I was in so much pain. I'm just like, I don't care what you do, take the whole thing out if you need to, but I just cannot take this kind of pain. And so it went very well. He removed apparently 60 cc's of blood that day, so it's more like 2 ounces. And some of the blood was starting to solidify, like jelly, he said. Anyway, it felt a lot better. They put a lot of numbing medicine in there too. I was doing really good at home, recovering from that, and my pain kind of started getting worse again after 4 or 5 days. So again, at that point, I'm just traumatized from my first experience, and I'm just like, oh no, is it coming back? So thankfully, it was during the week. I stopped by the office and I was like, listen, can you just please make sure it's healing well, because I'm having that similar pain and I don't know how much medicine I'm supposed to take. So the physician assistant was able to just see me, no appointment. They were so nice, and he reassured me it was healing really well, that there was no new hematoma, but I just needed to take more pain medicine because the numbing medicine they had put in there was wearing off. And so they told me take 3 ibuprofens and 2 Tylenols every 8 hours. It sounded like a lot of medicine. I also had oxycodone, but I didn't want to take that, too much of it. I had taken maybe a couple pills at one point, but if you can avoid it, 3 ibuprofen, 2 Tylenol actually did the trick. So I felt a lot better after being really good at taking those every 8 hours. And it healed so well. I had to wear a sports bra the whole time, like during the day and at night. You just want really good support. Of course, I was restricted on any kind of movement. Like I couldn't work out the way I used to. I used to be able to do regular push-ups, and I was working on my pull-ups and everything, and none of that. So I had to stop all of those, any kind of stretching, upper body. At work, I work in a nursing home, and I was not allowed to lift any patients. Pushing a wheelchair with someone kind of heavy, none of that. I was very restricted at work. But thank the Lord, I healed very well after that. So I had a follow-up, and we scheduled my lymph node surgery. So that's the next thing. Oh, I did forget one thing. This was after the first surgery. They analyzed the tumor, right? They told me the kind of cancer I had. They also did some genetic testing, and I think they do that for a lot of people now. But because my mom had ovarian cancer and her mother had breast and colon cancer, they wanted me to get tested for this gene called the BRCA. I wrote it down, BRCA1, BRCA2, that can run in families. It can significantly increase the chance of you getting ovarian or breast cancer, and it can really increase the chance as well we're talking 60 to 80% of your offspring. If you have a daughter, or I believe it can get carried through your son. So anyway, that was hanging over my head at some point as well. They tested me for that, and thank God I didn't have any of the bad genes. So that was a big relief. Now the lymph node surgery, that's to check if the cancer has spread in the body. So they will start by taking 2 or 3 lymph nodes, and that's happening this week. And they analyze them, and while you're still under, from what I understand, they send it to the lab. And if there's any trace of cancer, they want to take more lymph nodes. So I'm not sure how many, but that will determine a lot what kind of treatment I will be getting. So if it has spread into the lymph nodes, I will be getting chemotherapy. Unfortunately, I don't know how much. And if it has not, that will be more radiation. So I'm hoping for radiation. I work with a nurse who had the same kind of cancer as me a few years ago, and she said radiation wasn't too bad for her. She was able to work through it. And I would be getting radiation 5 days a week for 5 weeks. Sounds like a lot, but it's quick, I guess. So you can do quite a bit with radiation. If I have to have chemo, I don't think I'm going to be able to work, or I'm going to have to take a while, to get back to work. So I'm kind of hoping for no chemo, of course. I have to say, so far through this whole experience, I mean, cancer has definitely been a journey. This is nothing like I've ever experienced before. I've been very healthy. You're just not used to having a diagnosis, a disease, and then it just drags on for weeks and months. So that's been the biggest thing. I'm a Christian, and I draw a lot of my strength from God, and I've definitely felt His presence through all this. I have a good friend who reminded me God doesn't waste anything, and that really spoke to me, because when I was going through so much pain, it's hard to understand the purpose. Why would God let me experience so much pain? And I think, I had never been in so much pain besides maybe giving birth, and I had an epidural, so I don't feel like I experienced the full, how really truly painful giving birth can be. So I would say this was probably my worst pain that I've been through. And, you just, it's humbling. It's humbling to experience a 9 out of 10 kind of pain. And you feel very vulnerable. And people around you, like my husband, he is just hard for them too, because they just want to help you. They don't know how to. All they know is, I'm going to take you to the hospital, But anyway, I just feel like it's gotten me closer to God. And looking back, I'm thankful that I experienced this, because I can help others. Sometimes we don't understand why God will let us go through difficult times. But with time, you look back and you can see. And I've walked with God long enough now to know that He doesn't waste anything. And all the experiences we go through life, He uses them for His good and to give Him glory. And you give Him glory by going through pain, and you can help others as well, and you can show that God is still good. I'm still here. And there's blessings, little blessings you see along the way. I'm very thankful to be stage 1. I know it's not the same for everyone, but I do believe that God is a good God, and He will help you through it, and He's got a reason. And if you don't understand the reason at the time, it's okay, but you just trust Him, and He'll carry you through. And we're not alone going through pain or difficult times. I've gone through other things in my life, and He's always been there for me, even though I didn't always see it at the time, or maybe was angry at the time. But I do see, looking back, He was always there for me. So I would encourage you, if you are going through cancer right now, you just seek Him, ask Him to help you, and He will show Himself through you. He will show Himself to you. He will speak to you. He can speak to you through His Word, through other people, social media now, books, and sometimes a little voice in your head telling you it's going to be okay. If you've watched my video till this point, thank you so much for staying with me and listening to my story. And I will try to post more videos about my journey with cancer, in the next few weeks, and I will also try to post other videos, encouraging videos, maybe some devotionals, some Bible verses. And anyway, thank you so much, and you guys have a great week. Okay, bye.